Hey guys, this is the third part of the Minecraft 1.6.2 modding tutorial using the Minecraft Forge API. This time I'm going to go through world generation and items, and then we're going to add the textures for the items similar to what we did with the blocks. I'm going to try and make this tutorial and the tutorials in the future a little bit shorter than that second one there. That was half an hour, and it's a little bit long for people to watch, and it's a little bit long in terms of me uploading it and rendering it. That did take quite a while, which is why the video was posted very late on Monday night. So I'll try my best to make this one a little bit shorter so that it's a little more streamlined. So first we're going to generate the new block that we created last tutorial, and I'm just going to treat it as a mineable block similar to the stone and all of the ores that are already in the game. So we need a new class here. So to go to your package and create a new class, I'm going to call it world generator. Well, I'll call it test tutorial generator, just in case there is something called world generator. Probably is. Tutorial generator. Now the thing we want this to implement an interface. So we want it in implements, and we want it to implement iWorld generator. So this is the Minecraft class that handles the generation, and we're going to need to import this. Okay, it's going to go red. I'm not going to do the automatic thing because I want to type this out, so it overrides the superclass method, and it's a public void method, and it's called generate. This takes a random. It also takes a couple of ints called, I'm going to call them chunk X and chunk Z. So this is the X position and the Z position at the start of the chunk. It also takes a Minecraft world, which is just a world. And then it takes two things called iChunk providers. These are things to do with the chunks in Minecraft, and we're not going to use them here, but they do need to be imported. So I'm just going to call it chunk gen and iChunk provider chunk generate. I'll just call it something random. We don't need it at the moment, so we're going to need to import some stuff. Import the random. The world needs to be imported, and so does iChunk generator. This is going to go back every time I import something. Okay, so what I'm going to put this down in the next line. It's not going to see it. Okay, well, this the most important things are on the screen. So this is the method that you need. Now we're not going to just put everything in here because that really isn't what we want. We want to set this up so that you can have many blocks generating at the same time. So I'm going to put a method in here called gen blocks, and this is going to take this is going to give the world the random, and we're going to put chunk X and chunk Z in, but we're going to times it by 16 because that's the make sure we're dealing with a full block, because a full chunk, sorry, because the chunk is 16 by 16 by the height of the world. So it's chunk X times 16 and chunk Z times 16. This is going to go red because we haven't got it yet. Then we need to create this. Gen block is going to be a public void method, as most of these are. We're going to give it. It's going to take a world. It's going to take a random. And it's going to take chunk X and chunk Z, which I'm going to call chunk X and chunk Z again, just so we don't have any confusion here. Okay, and these are now times by 16. Remember that. Now, in this method, you can go ahead and add whatever block you want, but I'm gonna create another method called add block. I'm going to leave this empty just now because I'll explain what each of the things that I'm going to put in there mean when I make the add block function, which I'm going to do just now. Add block. This is going to take a lot of stuff. So we need a block that we want to generate. We want the world that we want to generate it in. We also need a random. Randoms feature a lot in Minecraft as randomly generated worlds, so you'd expect it. So you want the X position, so I'm going to call it chunk X again. The Z position, chunk Z, chunk Z. I'm going to hit this down to the next one.
chunk X, chunk Z. We need an X max, which is the maximum X distance away from the current position. I forgot to put int in front of that. We need a maximum for Z, so Z max, which is the maximum in the Z direction. We also need a vein size, so that's, I'm just going to call it vein, which is the size of the vein of material that you want. So coal is a very big vein, whereas diamond is quite small. You need a number, and that's the number that are going to spawn in each chunk. You need a Y min, which is the minimum height, and a Y max, which is the maximum height at which this block can spawn. So in here, I'm going to loop around. Just call it I, and I equals 0. I is less than the number, and we want to add it on so it doesn't get stuck in a loop. And then we're going to make a new world gen mineable, which is an object in Minecraft that deals with the ores and stuff like that. We're just going to treat this block as an ore. We're going to have block.block ID, so it's the ID of the block that we want to spawn. We want the vein size in there as well. I'm going to import block here just so that it can stop shouting at me. The first one there. The world gen mineable. I'll probably have to import this as well. Will it let me just now? No. Dot generate. I have to generate it. Now we want to give it the X, Y, and Z positions plus a world and a random. So we want world, random. Then we want to give it the X position. So we want chunk X, but we want to randomize it. So we want to add on a random integer between 0 and 16. Then we want the Y position, so we want somewhere between Y min and Y max. So I'm going to have Y min plus a random number. Random, not next int, gets the next random number if you're confused about that. And we're going to have Y max minus Y min here because you want it to be between the minimum and the maximum, so taking away a random number between Y max and Y min will allow that to happen. And then you want the same thing with Z that we did with X. Chunk Z plus random.nextInt between 0 and 16, and that should be that. I'm going to go and hit this down a bit so that we can see this. That's a bit better. Okay. What was wrong with this? Hello? Have I missed something? This all looks okay to me, unless I've missed the int chunk Z. Did not put a... I haven't put a comma there. Excellent. World gen mineable should be imported. Block ID should have a capital D. Actually, that was lucky that I spotted that. Okay, so now we're going to have to add all these things into it. So you want to have world, random. Sorry, not world first. We want the block. So we want the tutorial mod. Dot, and this is where we're going to have to actually change our tutorial mod. I had the public final here. We're going to have to make this static. If you don't know why that is, just trust me for now. Static, you can get to it from it with the class. New stone. You want to give it the world, the random. Then you want the chunk X. Oops. The chunk Z. Then Y max and Z, X max and Z max should be 16, just because chunks are 16 blocks. I wouldn't change that. That will not happen very well. Vein size, let's make it 10. Number, I'm going to make it 30 so that we can find it when we look for it. And the next thing you need is the maximum position. If you look here, you want the minimum position that you can see it. So I'm going to put, say, 10, maximum 100, so you can find it most places in the world. So that's the generator finished. Okay. Now what we need to do is we need to go to our tutorial mod and we need to register our generator by saying that tutorial generator, because that's the name of the class. We're going to call it gen equals new tutorial generator. Okay, and inside the load method, I'm going to put a little space there. You need to register this register the generator with the game registry. Registry dot register world generator, and there we go, gen. Okay, so now we've registered the world generator with Forge API. Now we can go ahead and move on to the next part, which is creating an item and put the texture. This is a very simple part of it. I'm going to bring up my 16 by 16 picture format here, and I'm just going to create yet again the world's most rubbish picture. Let's say we had a kind of powder thing that this could be an item. So let's make it, I don't know, red. That's more pink, but there we go. And the main thing for an item is you want it to be transparent. So I'm going to make the transparent background. If you don't know how to do that, consult your documentation or whatever thing you're using, but the magic wand's what does it in paint.net. We're going to save this here. That's not the right folder. That's nowhere near the right folder. Okay, so we're going to save it yet again in the right place to begin with. So Minecraft tutorials, Forge, MCP, into source, not clips, Minecraft, your assets folder you created, tutorial mod, textures, and inside items. And I'm going to call it new underscore powder .png. Now remember what that's called. New underscore powder. Now you want to go back to your package structure and make a new class. Now I'm just going to call it new powder. Actually, I'll call it item new powder, because it's quite handy to know what it is when you're looking at the class name. Item new powder. This class is going to extend the item class. Extends item. You're going to have to import item, and then you're going to see a red line come under here. This will moan about a constructor. I'm just going to add it. We don't need this. We don't need to know about this part here. All we want is to alter the constructor. So the last time we chained it together, if you remember in the tutorial mod, we chained the things together here. Now you can also do this in the constructor of your item or block. So I'm going to do it this way. So set stack size, I believe. No, set maximum stack size. Max stack size, and then you give it a number. I'm going to give it 64 because that's the kind of generic stack size. Set creative tab, and creative tabs. This doesn't really fit into anything, so I'm going to go into the misc tab, and then I'm going to set the unlocalized name for it, and I'm going to call it new underscore powder, just to keep the kind of same naming as the file. Okay, so that's what we've got there. Now to set the texture for this, we need to override yet again, similar to the block one, and I'm going to put this side only. Oops, that's the wrong. Side only, side dot client from the last time. That's going to moan in a little minute, and we're going to do public void register icons. I can register IR. Okay, so as you can see, that's similar to our register icons for our block. So basically it's almost the exact same. This is the current item class. Now it's icon ID this time. Sorry, item icon. There we go, item icon equals ir.register icon, and then you do the same thing as you did before. So if you remember in the new stone, we had to do name of the ID of the mod, colon, and then the name of the PNG file. Exactly the same. Tutorial mod, score mod, and then new powder. That's the item class done. So the only thing we've got left to do is go back to our tutorial mod class and register this item. So public static final item new powder equals new item new powder, similar to what we did with new stone. And you give it an ID. I'm going to give it 501. We're going to need to import item again. Okay. Now the only thing we need to do in the load method is add the name for it. So language registry dot add name, and you want to give new powder. Let's call it new powder, but all nice and kind of civilized language. Okay, so that's saved that, and that's you. Now you have an item. You have a texture. It should be saved in the right place. I hope I've saved it in the right place. And you've got world generation. So we're gonna run this now, and we'll hope that this works. First, I'm just going to show you the item in the inventory using the creative tab, and then we're going to have a look for our stone in the middle of a mountain or something. So test 2, let's just call it. I'm going to put it in creative so I don't have to deal with anything. Okay, so let's go into the MISC tab. You should see new powder. There we go. There it is. Oh, a bit laggy there. Okay, so now what we really want to do is have a look for our stone. How about we just dig down? Hopefully we should find it pretty quickly. Oh wait, did I see that there? There we go. Yeah. So now we've got it generating in the world. You can see there it is. It will have stack sizes, vein sizes of between 1 and whatever you set it to. Okay, so now you know how to. I'll close this before I finish up. Now you know how to generate your blocks you've created in the world. You know how to create items and give them textures. So this is now the very, very basics of making Minecraft mods, and we'll be going on to more kind of advanced things soon. Hopefully this tutorial has been helpful, not as long as the first proper tutorial, which is good. It would take so long to upload and stuff like that. Next tutorial I'm going to look over ways to get the block and the item that we've created. So you're going to be able to craft the block, and you're going to be able to have the block drop the item, and you're also going to be able to smelt something to make the item, maybe. We'll have a look at that. And yeah, I think that's it. So as always, feel free to give me any questions on any of the social networks or on the YouTube comments and stuff, and feel free to like the video or subscribe if you want to see more. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Thanks.